thank you very much. I really thank you for this invitation. Well, undoubtedly in Chile, this is a whole new issue which has concerned us a great deal. But now I will read and I will start commenting on some things which not only have to do with the essential drugs, but in general on palliative care. The scientific progress has made life and death even more evident, making necessary the precision of some concepts and no doubt the regulation of certain practices, which entails generating consensus on the most suitable ways of facing this issue that has to do with pain, palliative care, and undoubtedly death as well. The Chilean legislation, by way of example, defines death as the cessation of vital signs in a person, and there are different criteria that have to be considered to consider someone as dead. The definition of death, understood as a process to which the Chilean Civil Code has referred to, and no doubt this is an issue which has to be tackled in an adequate way. On the other hand, regarding suffering, it supposes for the state and the civil society a duty to avoid as much as possible pain. And unlike the death issue, where it's estimated that there is an absolute and irrestrictive obligation to the state to sustain the life of someone, the drop in the therapeutical effort is seen as a big issue when discussing euthanasia, something which I do not agree, and a state cannot even refer to euthanasia if they have not dealt with the discussion on palliative care first and how they have to be implemented. And I'm sorry, but he's reading. We have to remember that a patient for whom nothing else was possible, they were sent to die, out to die. The fact to recognize pain and suffering can take human beings out of their sense of life to enjoy life, and it can go to understanding a comprehensive sense, including the psychosocial. Right now, dignified death, or this concept, has been visualized in a very specific way. The idea of having more space has been added to the possibility of rejecting medical treatment. And consequently, a patient can decide whether he will be treated or not. Nonetheless, we should not confound the right to decide on our own death, because regarding this, we still have a lot of discussion around. And this is why we have to advance. And I refer to a comprehensive policy on palliative care, which tackles the end of life from the dignity viewpoint and the quality of life. Consequently, and added to the proportionality concept. We have a bill in Chile that tackles this issue, and it tackles as well the pain management perspective. And we also have plans and programs which stem from the public authority. Well, no doubt we have to make progress on the generation of a technical framework that will set the foundation of a culture to fight pain and the right to have a dignified death that will affect the patient and the relatives. This is one of the largest challenges in the training and formation of medical teams. And finally, and if we are aware that the challenge of making progress in palliative care terms involves resources, and this is something that they asked me to present, and we have to abide by the multiple needs on the health sector, I firmly believe in this idea of strengthening this network of protection and equal access. And this can only be asked for through the right mechanisms. If I don't have a right if this is not something that I am entitled to. I can demand this right to the authority. With a bill, which is something that we want to do in our country, this aims at reinforcing a process of agony and death, making sure that pain management will be provided either at a hospital or at home to be able to safeguard the lives of the patients, always bearing in mind that if there is pain, it has to be prevented. A public policy that was born from the legality and the law, which might be a response from the state to an incurable disease and enables the state to accompany those patients who are suffering. Well, it's a challenge then in this world on palliative care vis-a-vis other sectors or other specialties in medicine. There are other professions and careers which have to be part of this challenge as well. I've been invited to the seminar as a representative of the Ministry of Health, and no doubt today we face an important dilemma, which is to regulate in an orderly and systematic manner palliative care. And this is why I allow myself to make this first reflection, because this is the way to adequately face regulation and palliative care issues. In Chile, we have our HACE, which are guarantees, which refer to the access, the quality, financial protection, and the opportunity this happens, and a prioritized group of programs, diseases, health conditions, which are based on a protocol that will make sure they are all granted and implemented. We have to deliver these guarantees on a timely basis to the beneficiaries because it's a legal benefit that they have. And we, at HES, we have an oncological HES. And in oncological terms, this is big progress. It's serving the patient and his or her environment by a professional team, and it ensures the quality of the patient health. And what are these incorporated pathologies? The next conditions that are part of this list. I'm sorry, but he's reading way too fast. It doesn't make sense. At the beginning of the first 5 days of the diagnostic confirmation. Now, without the prejudice of having financial protection that will go close to 180 hours for comprehensive care of palliative care with paying 20% of its cost, there are still pending challenges in Chile. And the first challenge in oncological palliative care, which is actually progress, the big doubt that we have now is the regulatory framework, maybe in those terms that I have just referred. So I treasure this type of initiatives. I value them because they allow us to know, as the representative of the Mexican Ministry of Health said, what is the experience in the development of interdisciplinary teams, which is the right way to work around palliative care, from the legal aspects to the regulatory aspects. And this took years because the implementation, no doubt, has to be gradual. Thank you very much.